5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition, liftoff, Semper Fi, aim high.
If I take the Merrill name badge off of my shirt right now, watching what's been going on today, it would be very clear to me that it looks like they've taken the side of the institutional investors.
So you just heard Merrill on this call say they're taking the side of the institutional investors over the client. Now that's an admission. And in this tape, we hear our source talking to Anthony Daniels of Merrill Lynch, a division of Bank of America. Our source, who recorded this call, has been informed that Merrill intends to sell a portion of shares of a stock they had purchased recently.
So with the additional concentrated position, when he called around 5:30, they were selling a margin call of $57,904. They can either liquidate shares to bring it back up within the acceptable margin requirement, or if you wanted to transfer in funds to support the margin on that holding, you have that ability as well. But because you're so concentrated in that position, they increase the requirement, and you have the option to either liquidate or bring in funds in that amount, or they may liquidate for you to reduce the risk in the account.
In order to help us understand all of this, we have a special guest here today at Project Veritas, the famous stockbroker Jay Ogeko. Jay, take it away. Let me explain how these things called margin accounts work. Our source, well, your source, has what's called a margin account with Merrill Lynch at Bank of America, an account where Merrill loans the investor the money to buy securities. On the day of the call, the market was extremely volatile. GameStop, AMC, and other stocks exploded in value, which caused huge problems for Wall Street. Individual investors had banded together and saw an opportunity to put the big boys on their heels. Yeah, they bought these stocks, GameStop, AMC, and others, knowing that the big firms on Wall Street had already bet that their stocks were going to fall in price, not rise. Because of the buying surge, those stocks rocketed up. The big firms were in trouble, potentially losing tens of billions of dollars on their bets. They circled the wagons. Your source, the small investor, believes Merrill Lynch at Bank of America was changing the rules with him to help their buddies on Wall Street like me. Merrill is telling their source to sell some of his stock.
Now, tell me the truth. You guys know that this stock is going to go up, and you want me to sell my shares to put some liquidity into the market, don't you? You know that's what's going on. Now, between you and I as a trader, you know that this is what's going on, right? And I know that you're smiling right now, but this is what's going on, and you guys.
Yeah, I mean, if I take the Merrill name badge off of my shirt right now, watching what's been going on today with these type of stocks has been frustrating. Seeing that they've stopped opening orders, allowed the hedge funds to close those short positions. It's very clear to me that it looks like they've taken the side of the institutional investors. The official response we're having, we're doing all of this to mitigate risk.
Now, the institutional investors are the big banks and hedge funds. Now, last week, because of the GameStop phenomenon, the big banks and hedge funds were in trouble. By Merrill, Bank of America, forcing individuals like our source to sell their stocks puts liquidity back in the market, helping the fat cats like me and my friends on Wall Street.
Volatility on these stocks has been out of control. Now I'm a little bit in the dark. I'm just getting, updates on what we're allowing and when we are. I'm not getting reasons as to why. So I can only speculate, and I don't want to get too involved with speculation there, but yeah, I hear where you're coming from there. It sounds fishy. It sounds strange. And then for them to do that today, adds to that dynamic. Unfortunately, I can only communicate with what I'm seeing here in the account and decisions that the firm is making.
Mr. Daniels of Merrill Lynch is essentially admitting that Merrill's actions are fishy and says, quote, "It's very clear to me that it looks like they've taken the side of the institutional investors, unquote.
Wait, so let me understand. You guys are deciding that this stock is high risk on your own accord, and now you're telling me that you want to increase my margin call when the margin call that we initially agreed on has not been complicated in any way. So you guys are changing the percentage at will. Is that correct?
They are changing the percentage, not specifically because of the holding, but because of the concentrated position.
Can you detail what you mean by concentrated position?
Yeah. So you have 12,583 shares of BNGO.
Okay.
And that's essentially your only holding in the account.
Yeah.
Because it is so exposed, you've got your account all exposed to one stock. That has a potential extra risk involved there. So they are increasing the margin requirement to 75% from the initial 30% to manage the risk in the account.
That was it. That is where Mr. Daniels told our insider that Merrill is changing the rules mid-game. Our insider rightly believed these stocks were going up, and they did, almost 22% in the day since the call. Merrill Lynch is increasing the margin requirement, which means you have to have more cash. They made him increase the cash liquidity from only 30% of the initial investment to 75%. That's a big difference. If he didn't, they'd sell his shares for him at a loss to fund Merrill. All this under the guise of risk management. Remember, dear investors, forced losses are for your own good.
Hold on. So, at what point in our agreement did it say that you guys are allowed to do this?
I can send you the Merrill Margin Handbook. Concentrated positions are covered, and unfortunately, as the messenger here for Merrill, I don't make the rules. They do have the ability to increase margin requirements on securities they see fit at any time. And that's why they were giving you the call to inform you, so you could have the option to see if you want to bring in funds to cover the risk, or if you want to liquidate the shares on your own. If that doesn't happen, they may go in and liquidate for you to reduce the risk in the account.
Now, when you guys go in and liquidate for me, what exactly does that mean, and who says what shares are going to be sold?
The firm decides. It can be on a random order basis. They just need to get the account back up to that liquidate $57,904 worth of shares in order to get the fund back into reasonable maintenance.
So you guys are making me sell my shares so that someone else can buy them. That's basically what you're doing, and you know it. I don't want to sell those shares. I'm telling you, I do not want to sell those shares. I have no intention of selling those shares, and it's not for you to tell me that I have too much or I'm leveraging too much on one single stock. It's not up to you. And now I know that you guys are doing this because in the next 4 or 5 days, this stock is going to go up. And you need to ensure that there's some liquidity out there for it to be purchased. Now, I'm recording you, and so I'm letting you know that I'm recording you, and I'm going to post this because you're a representative of Merrill, and you just gave your opinion that they sided with the institutional bankers. You gave your opinion. Now, I'm going to let people know that...
That's in the news, yeah.
I'm going to let people know what you said. I have no intention of liquidating these shares. But if I have to, I will do it on my own.
Merrill Lynch's Anthony Daniels is just the messenger. We wonder how many other individual investors got the same call as our source but didn't have the courage to record the call. Was Merrill Lynch, according to its own employee, taking the side of institutional investors? Was Merrill protecting their friends on Wall Street? You decide. But it sure smells fishy, to quote Mr. Daniels.
It's the money.
What they did was not technically illegal. It was just in bad taste for the situation. If they would have given me proper notice, at least over the call, I would have had some interest in putting in the $40,000 to hold my security. But it was just sort of the way that they went about it. Less than 24 hours notice. I should have at least the opportunity to fund the account and not have to sell my position. That opportunity was not offered to me. transfer in $50,000 in less than one business day.
Merci d'avoir regardé la vidéo. Si vous l'avez aimé, mettez un pouce. Et si vous voulez faire partie de la famille cosmique, abonnez-vous. Si vous désirez nous soutenir pour notre travail, vous pouvez trouver le lien Tipeee en description. Merci, à bientôt. Bisous.